Looking for a fast way to track what's moving online right now? Head over to Qnotables.com. It's a centralized index of notable clips, headlines, and references being shared across the community, organized for quick browsing. Use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas, and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards. Trump says Ukraine peace deal is closer than ever after Zelensky meeting President Trump met Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Florida and said a peace deal is closer than ever, but tough issues remain. Zelensky said talks made progress while key disputes, territory and security guarantees, are still unresolved. Both sides signaled more work ahead as fighting continues on the ground. U.S. proposal includes 15-year security guarantee for Ukraine. Ukraine's president says the United States has proposed a 15-year security guarantee as part of a developing peace plan. Zelensky said he welcomes the offer, but would prefer a longer commitment to deter future Russian attacks. Key issues still include military withdrawals and the status of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Kremlin. Ukraine must withdraw from remaining Donbas areas for peace. The Kremlin said Ukraine would need to withdraw troops from the parts of Donbas it still controls in order to reach peace, warning that failure to reach a deal could lead to additional territorial losses. Russian officials said more contact is expected after recent Trump-Putin communications. Ukraine has not accepted Russia's territorial demands. Trump says he had a very productive call with Putin. President Trump said he had a good and very productive telephone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin ahead of the Trump-Zelensky meeting. Russia confirmed the call occurred, but did not release full details. The call comes as diplomatic activity increases around a potential framework to end the war. New Jersey. Midair helicopter crash leaves one dead. Officials say 2 helicopters collided mid-air over Hamilton Municipal Airport in southern New Jersey, killing one pilot and critically injuring the other. The FAA and NTSB are investigating. Video from the scene showed one helicopter spiraling down before a fireball on impact. Both aircraft were small Enstrom helicopters. Pentagon watchdog. Billions in Israel aid not properly tracked. A Pentagon Inspector General report found the Department of Defense did not properly track significant portions of military support sent to Israel after the October 7, 2023 attacks. The report cites gaps in documentation and monitoring requirements. Defense officials say accountability is harder in active combat conditions, but the watchdog is calling for stronger controls. Charlottesville ends. License plate camera pilot over privacy concerns. Charlottesville, Virginia is ending its pilot program using automated license plate reader cameras. City leaders cited privacy and data sharing concerns, including worries about how the information could be accessed beyond local law enforcement. The city says the cameras will be removed as the pilot expires. Trump to host Netanyahu for talks on next phase of Gaza plan. President Trump is set to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago to discuss the next steps in a multi-phase Gaza ceasefire plan. Reporting indicates the agenda includes Gaza governance and security, Hezbollah-related tensions, and Iranian military activity. The plan's next phase remains disputed, with major questions about enforcement and disarmament. Report. Netanyahu scheduled to meet Rubio before Trump meeting. Israeli reporting says Prime Minister Netanyahu is expected to meet Secretary of State Marco Rubio before sitting down with President Trump. The talks are expected to focus on Gaza, Lebanon, and broader regional security. The meetings come as negotiations face pressure points on hostages, crossings, and the future governance of Gaza. U.S. strikes Islamic State camps in Nigeria. U.S. forces carried out strikes on Islamic State camps in Nigeria, with administration officials framing the operation as part of counter-terror policy. The strikes drew attention because of the location and the wider security situation in the region. Details on damage and casualties were not fully released in initial public reporting. Russia sentences former diplomat for selling secrets to U.S. intelligence. Russia's security service says a former diplomat was convicted of treason and sentenced to a penal colony for selling secrets to U.S. intelligence. Russian state-linked reporting says the case involved classified information and an arrest in a prior year. The United States has not confirmed details of the allegations in Russian court filings. Pentagon expands internal GenAI platform with XAI integration. The Department of War announced plans to integrate XAI tools into its internal GenAI.mil platform, targeting initial deployment in early 2026. The goal is to expand secure generative AI access for military and civilian personnel handling controlled, unclassified information. Officials say the move is meant to speed routine workflows while maintaining security controls. Grassley sets deadline for Anthony Weiner laptop review. Record Senator Chuck Grassley set a deadline of December 29, 2025 for federal agencies to provide records, including a report titled The Anthony Weiner Laptop Review for Communications Pertinent to Mid-Year Exam, dated November 15, 2016. Grassley says the request is tied to congressional oversight of prior DOJ and FBI actions connected to the Clinton email investigation. Thailand and Cambodia agree to consolidate ceasefire in China talks. Thailand and Cambodia agreed to gradually consolidate a ceasefire after weeks of border clashes that killed over 100 people and displaced hundreds of thousands. The announcement followed trilateral talks with China. Officials emphasized rebuilding trust and avoiding renewed fighting as both sides continued diplomatic engagement. U.S. welcomes Cambodia-Thailand ceasefire and urges full compliance. The U.S. State Department welcomed the ceasefire announcement between Cambodia and Thailand and urged both countries to fully honor the agreement. Washington framed the truce as a key step to stop hostilities and support long-term stability along the border as diplomatic talks continue. Pentagon's 2025 AI contracts highlight push to integrate commercial AI. Reporting on Defense Department procurement shows multiple major AI vendors received contracts in 2025 as the Pentagon accelerates adoption of commercial AI for national security missions. The effort focuses on operational workflows, intelligence support, and enterprise use, while officials continue to debate governance and risk controls. DHS claims more than 2.5 million illegal aliens have left the U.S. in under a year. DHS released a statement claiming more than 2.5 million illegal aliens have left the United States in less than a year under current enforcement and voluntary departure efforts. The department points to increased interior enforcement and incentives for self-departure, while broader immigration numbers remain contested in public debate. Sudan. Drone strike reported in West Darfur capital, casualties reported. Local reporting from Sudan says at least 17 people were killed in drone strikes in El Geneina, the capital of West Darfur. The incident is part of a wider pattern of attacks as conflict persists. Details remain fluid, with limited independent access to confirm attribution and full casualty count. Russia hits Ukraine with heavy strikes as peace talks continue. As diplomacy continues, reports indicate Russia carried out heavy strikes on Ukraine, including Kyiv, while both sides discuss possible paths to a ceasefire. Observers warn that battlefield pressure can shape negotiation positions. Ukraine continues to request durable security guarantees before making territorial concessions. Barna reports Gen Z and millennials now lead in regular church attendance. New survey reporting from Barna indicates Gen Z and millennials show the highest levels of regular church attendance compared to older generations in their dataset. Analysts caution that other surveys show long-term national decline, but the finding suggests a notable shift in who is most consistently attending. FCC action tightens future authorizations for certain foreign-made drone equipment. Industry reporting says the FCC added certain foreign-made drones and components to a covered list affecting future equipment authorizations. Existing, previously authorized systems remain legal to operate, but the move could influence procurement, compliance, and supply chains for drone operators and manufacturers. Peace talks. Next Trump-Putin contact expected soon, Kremlin signals. Russian officials indicated further high-level contact is expected soon after recent Trump-Putin communication and Trump's meeting with Zelensky. Moscow's public position emphasizes territorial and military conditions. Ukraine continues to prioritize guarantees and a sustainable ceasefire framework before any referendum or concessions. Ukraine humanitarian strain persists in frontline regions as war enters another year. Humanitarian reporting continues to show food insecurity and strained services in parts of Ukraine closest to the front lines. Aid groups cite disrupted supply chains and displacement. Officials say sustained access and security are required for large-scale relief, especially through winter and into the next phase of negotiations.
At shop.isawaya.com, everything you buy supports Qn.top, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Qn honey pot, a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toaster and tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Qn butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wooden pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off Qn's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isawaya.com now and grab some goodies. Help Qn.top keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas, and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards. Trump presses Jordan and Egypt on Gaza resettlement. President Donald Trump reiterated his position that Gaza should be cleared and rebuilt, saying neighboring Jordan and Egypt should provide land for displaced Gazans. Both governments have publicly rejected any permanent resettlement plan, warning it would destabilize the region and violate Palestinian rights. African Union rejects recognition of Somaliland. The African Union Commission issued a formal statement rejecting any recognition of Somaliland and reaffirming Somalia's unity and sovereignty. The AU warned that unilateral recognition could inflame tensions in the Horn of Africa and undermine regional stability. Palestinians reject forced deportation proposals. Palestinian officials issued a blanket rejection of any plan involving forced relocation of their population, including proposals linked to Somaliland. They said forced displacement violates international law and called for global opposition to such measures. Somalia to assume UN Security Council presidency. Somalia is scheduled to take over the rotating presidency of the United Nations Security Council on January 1, 2026. While largely procedural, the role marks a significant diplomatic milestone for a country long affected by conflict and instability. Russia launches major strike on Kyiv infrastructure. Russian forces carried out a large missile and drone attack targeting power and civilian infrastructure in and around Kyiv. Ukrainian officials reported widespread outages and casualties as emergency crews worked to restore electricity. Putin warns Russia will achieve goals by force. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Moscow would pursue its objectives militarily if Ukraine rejects peace negotiations. Ukrainian leaders dismissed the statement, calling it an attempt to justify continued aggression. EU leader floats German troops in Ukraine. The head of the European Parliament's largest political bloc suggested German troops could deploy under an EU flag if a peace deal is reached in Ukraine. The proposal sparked immediate debate over escalation and mandate authority. Iran declares total war with the West. Iran's leadership claimed the country is engaged in what it called a total war with the United States, Israel, and Europe. The statement comes amid rising nuclear tensions and increased regional military activity. Nigeria claims U.S. used drone-launched missiles. Nigerian officials allege recent U.S. strikes involved drone-launched missiles fired from maritime platforms. The U.S. has not publicly confirmed the claim, and details of the operation remain under review. Drone strikes kill civilians in West Darfur. Local officials in Sudan say drone strikes in El Geneina, the capital of West Darfur, killed at least 17 people. The attack highlights the expanding role of drones in Sudan's ongoing civil war. China tightens national drone regulations. China approved new revisions to its civil aviation law that strengthen regulation and oversight of drone operations. The move formalizes earlier controls and expands enforcement authority across the country. Philippines operation rescues 92 children. International law enforcement operations in the Philippines rescued 92 children and led to multiple arrests tied to online exploitation networks. Authorities say several suspects are foreign nationals, including Australians. JP Morgan freezes stablecoin startup accounts. JP Morgan Chase reportedly froze accounts belonging to 2 stablecoin startups following sanctions compliance reviews. The move underscores increasing scrutiny of crypto-related financial activity by major banks. Trump Kennedy Center lawsuit filed. Rick Grinnell says President Trump has filed a $1 million lawsuit against a musician who canceled a Kennedy Center performance in protest over Trump's name being added to the venue. Kash Patel says Hoover Building to shut down. Kash Patel posted that the FBI's Hoover Building will be permanently shut down. No official timetable has been released, and federal agencies have not yet confirmed the claim. Pam Bondi warns clock running out on J6 committee. Former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi said the statute of limitations is nearing for alleged crimes tied to the January 6th committee, warning accountability windows may soon close. James O'Keefe threatens to investigate prosecutors. James O'Keefe said if no arrests occur by 2026, he will begin investigating prosecutors themselves. He claims misconduct within the justice system must be exposed if left unaddressed. Soros-backed NGO accused of jury manipulation. Reports allege a Soros-backed nonprofit is training Washington, D.C. residents on how to infiltrate juries to influence trials involving President Trump and his administration. Boulder police faulted in JonBenet Ramsey case. New reporting says Boulder police bear responsibility for compromising the JonBenet Ramsey crime scene in 1996. Critics argue early errors may have permanently damaged the investigation. New DNA tech may revive JonBenet investigation. Advances in genetic genealogy are raising new hopes in the JonBenet Ramsey case. The family is urging authorities to apply modern DNA tools to decades-old evidence. Cheryl Atkinson cites infant vaccine mortality data. Journalist Cheryl Atkinson highlighted state health data suggesting higher mortality among infants vaccinated at 2 months compared to unvaccinated infants in the following month. Cleveland Clinic flu shot study raises questions. A Cleveland Clinic study found flu-vaccinated individuals had a higher rate of flu infection than unvaccinated participants. Researchers cautioned the findings warrant further study. Musk says great replacement has happened. Elon Musk stated that what he calls the great replacement has already occurred, renewing debate over immigration, demographics, and national identity. ICE deportations continue despite backlash. Immigration and Customs Enforcement continues large-scale deportations amid political and legal pushback. Officials say enforcement remains a top federal priority. Illegal immigrants charged in teen kidnapping. 2 illegal immigrants were arrested and charged in the kidnapping of a teenage girl, with investigators saying the suspects plan to keep her permanently. Russia pounds Kyiv ahead of diplomacy. Russian strikes intensified around Kyiv as diplomatic efforts accelerate behind the scenes. Analysts say Moscow may be seeking leverage before any negotiations. Putin warns Ukraine on peace talks. President Putin again warned that rejecting peace talks would lead Russia to achieve its aims through continued military force, escalating tensions ahead of international mediation efforts. Gen Z now top church-attending group. New data shows Generation Z has become the most church-attending age group in the United States, reversing long-standing trends of declining religious participation.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.